Shalom, friends. Bradley Shavit Artson here from the Ziegler School of Rabbinic Studies, American Jewish University in Los Angeles. I want to share some thoughts about one of the verses that comes at the very beginning of the Haggadah. After the opening rituals that get us going, we launch into the Magid, which literally means the telling. And the core part of the Seder evening is the ritual telling of the story of how we were slaves in Egypt and how we were brought free. And you'd think it's a horrific story because it talks about such degradation, such cruelty, such barbarity, and then ultimately about plagues and wonders and miracles and being able to march free at the end. The story is preceded by these verses that are verses that remind us of hope. They remind us that liberation has to include our bodies and that liberation has to include our minds and our hearts. So here we go. Lakhma Anya di achalu avahatana be'ara de Mitzrayim. This is the bread of poverty and persecution that our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. And we say that in reference to the matzah that is going to walk us through the telling. But look at the very beginning. We start with poverty and with persecution. These are social factors in which the society marginalizes some people, makes them invisible, crushes them. And now here it takes an interesting turn. Kol dichfin yete v'yechul, kol ditzrich yete v'yifsach. All who are hungry, come eat. All who are in need, come share the meal. No, there's two different things to see here. One, notice that the first line is about a physical phenomenon. Hunger is solved by food. And anyone who's physically hungry, come join us at the table. Our eating can't be at the expense of your invisibility or your suffering. But the second is a broader, more spiritual hunger. All who are in need, come share the Seder. Because part of what we're sharing is not just the nurture of food, we're sharing what it means to tell a story together, what it means to identify with the story, what does it mean to be able to know we're going to be liberated. And it continues, Hashata hacha lashana haba'a ba'ara d'Yisrael. This year, we are here, wherever here is, next year in the land of Israel. And then it does another doublet, another repeat. Hashata avdei, lashana haba'a b'nei chorin. This year we are slaves. Next year we will be liberated, free people. Same balance. Geographically here, that's a physical thing. Next year in the land of Israel. But then it broadens again to a state of being. This year we're not really free. We're still burdened with our struggles, our issues of how we've handled being shut in this year, of all of the social and economic roiling of our society, issues of injustice, issues of racism. How do we handle all of that, the threat facing the climate? And that requires a pivot. That requires a turn. This year we are enslaved in our minds, in our hearts, some of us physically. And next year we have confidence we will be free. My friends, armed with hope, the Seder prepares us to tell a story of deep and gruesome lows and of extraordinary highs. And so the key, as always, is hope. The key is to have a spirituality that doesn't deny the body but integrates the physical into the emotional and into the spiritual. I wish you all a very happy and joyous Passover.